Hello, Drake Hawk and Sadboy Cinema here, and today I am going to be doing a different video because I'm not reviewing anything, and I'm not even going to show you around my apartment. Not even an apartment, it's just a room I'm staying in, because I don't want to accidentally dox myself and have people mail me letter bombs and shit. So I'm going to be showing you guys my CD collection. Yeah, I'm one of the few people in the world who still, buy CDs, because CDs are definitely not still being made nowadays. So I decided while I'm working on some reviews, why don't I show you guys my CD collection? And before you say it, I already know. No one asked. These are all my CDs. I started collecting CDs and stuff while I was in placement because that was our only access to music. There was a phase program, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the higher up a number that you got, the closer you were to leaving the placement. And at phase 3, one of the rewards was getting a CD player and 2 CDs of your choice. Now they had to be clean, of course, because no swears. Swears are for criminals. So we only got clean CDs. But since I've gotten out, I've decided to get explicit CDs because who the fuck listens to clean music? And most of the CDs that I had while I was in there, I gave away to kids in there because, I was leaving. I didn't have a reason to have them, and they were clean so everyone else could listen to them, and it wasn't even point is, I just don't have a lot of the albums that I did before. So I'm rebuilding up my collection, and let's just go through what I have. Let's start with the clean CDs, which I only have 3 of now. So first, Views by Drake. Views is what a lot of people would say is Drake's sleepiest record, but personally, I think it's okay. Yes, it does foreshadow the absolute downfall that Drake would have, with having a lot of half-ass attempts at R&B, and the raps not being as intense or as emotional or as impactful as they were on even the mixtape before this. If you're reading this, it's too late. I do think it's still a solid enough record. People hold Take Care, Nothing Was the Same on these high pedestals like they are masterpieces in modern rap, but they were just okay too. I feel like in Drake's earlier projects, the weaker tracks were the ones that were the big hits. For instance, the title track of Take Care. I feel like it's just an okay Drake-Rihanna collab. Dare I say Too Good is a much better Drake-Rihanna collab. I feel like the better points on Take Care were when Drake went in that mellow R&B direction, and that is what most of this album is, just mellow, chill, laid-back R&B. Now obviously, it's not a flawless record. I'd say the first 10 tracks are solid. The first half of the record, you start off, Keep the Family Close, banger. 9, It's Okay, You With Me, Feel No Ways, hype, bangers. It's just mellow banger after hype banger after mellow banger. It's just a bunch of good tracks on top of one another, but then once you get to track 11, Controlla, it seems like the album takes kind of a left turn. Controlla and One Dance are 2 of the weakest tracks that I've ever heard from Drake, especially One Dance. Just the instrumental is just so... it's just something about the mix, it just does not work for me. And then that trashy breakdown near the last chorus is just god-awful. Grammys featuring Future is probably the worst Future Drake collab, even worse than Life is Good. I always skip this track. Also because the CD is scratched and I have to skip the track. Child's Play is sonically great, but lyrically trash. This song is literally about the pettiest fights ever with your significant other and dealing with them in the most pettiest of ways. The track Pop Style is a skip, just for the got so many chains, they call me Chain and Tatum line. But then we get a decent 2-track run with Too Good with Rihanna and Summer's Over Interlude, which Summer's Over Interlude is okay, it's handled by another artist, but still a solid enough track to listen to. And every time I listen to this album, I completely forget what Fire and Desire and Views sound like, which is a problem when the title track is Views and you don't remember what the title track sounds like ever. And then the album closes with Hotline Bling, the big song from the album, which was released before the album and only added to the album as a bonus track, which a lot of people say is the best track in the album. Actually, no, looking at the track list now, we have Still Here, Faithful, With You. Yeah, this album's a 7. Next, we have Dawn FM by The Weeknd. This marks the second album that Weeknd has done the 80s sound in, and personally, I think Weeknd should just stop doing pop shit and just stick with this forever. After Hours is a fantastic record that came into my life when I needed it most and helped me most when I was really, really depressed, and then this album, Dawn FM, it just hammers that sound and hammers that style down into absolute perfection. Tracks like Gasoline, Is There Someone Else, How Do I Make You Love Me? All of these are just absolute bangers, and I do not believe that there is a bad song on the album. Okay, maybe that song with Lil Wayne is a skip every time it comes on, but that's mainly Wayne's fault that the song sucks. And Tyler's verse on Here We Go Again brings a lot more depth and emotion to this already great track. The instrumentals are retro but futuristic at the same time. The Weeknd's vocals are so beautiful and angelic at points, and the lyricism helps enforce themes that have been all over the Weeknd's music, but somehow hits harder over these sort of instrumentals. This one is an 8 from me. And finally, the last clean CD I have Mainstream Sellout by Machine Gun Kelly. Personally, I never heard the record before I bought it. I saw it in Walmart and I knew how bad everyone said it was, so I was like, I have to buy it. Now I have a physical copy of this album, and personally, it's bad, but like, it's not offensively bad or anything. I liked Tickets to My Downfall, honestly. I thought it was like a 6 or 7 out of 10. It's a decent record. Lyrically, it's nothing to write home about, as MGK's never been special with lyrics or anything. But the main thing that MGK does have over these other trash pop punk artists coming up is catchy songwriting. The hooks on Drunk Face, Kiss Kiss, Forget Me Too. These are all catchy and will get stuck in your head whenever you hear them, if for the right or wrong reasons. Not to mention, on Forget Me Too, Halsey knocks her performance just out of the fucking park. So it shouldn't really be a surprise to anyone as to why Tickets to My Downfall did so well commercially. Yes, it's not the best record in the world. Yes, MGK is not a very good person, but the songs are catchy and that's really all that matters when it comes to mainstream music. With this record though, the main fault of it is that the songs just aren't as catchy as they were on the other album. I would say the debut record, but it's not really his first album. It's his first album in this pop punk lane. I'm probably never going to listen to this album front to back again, but there are a couple tracks that I do like. Maybe with Bring Me the Horizon was pretty cool. A with Lil Wayne was cool, I think. It was either A or Drug Dealer. One of the songs with Lil Wayne I thought was nice. I think it was A. I can't remember. By the way, why are there 2 Lil Wayne features on this album? Like, could you not get another rapper? Did no one else want to work with you? Probably not. I know I wouldn't work with you. Unless, of course, you pay me a lot of money. In which case, let me get that check, MGK. I'm just not going to throw my, I'm gonna provide a hard-ass verse. This album, it's nothing special. It's not great. It's an album. I give it like a 3 out of 10. So that's all the clean CDs. So now we're going to talk about my Anderson .Paak albums. Oxnard and his great collaboration with Bruno Mars, Silk Sonic. This is a really solid album from Anderson .Paak, and the first one that I heard too. Now, I didn't listen to it for the first time while in placement. I actually got into Anderson .Paak's music a few months before I got back into placement for 2 fucking years. I heard Bubblin' for the first time, and then I had to go through everything he released. And while nothing was as explosive as Bubblin' was, it doesn't mean I was disappointed by the vibes that he was getting off in his music. He's got a great singing voice, he's great at rapping when he does it on here, he's a really damn good drummer when he drums. With some artists, catchy songwriting's all they have, but with Anderson .Paak, not only does he have the ability to draw you in and keep you listening to a song forever, like with Tense or with Anywhere, but his lyricism is solid too, and the messages in his songs, whether it be, heartbreak from a relationship or a dysfunctional relationship, or, times he got his dick sucked. There's not a bad song on this record. Now, does that mean I listen to every song? No, I do skip the intro chase because I feel like it's kind of redundant. I know it's an intro trying to set the tone. It has this sort of cinematic vibe to it. It has a skit, but I just don't really like listening to it that much. And I always skip Mansa Musa just because I just do not like this song. Especially with it being sandwiched in between 2 of the best tracks on the album. It's even worse for me. And then the 2 bonus tracks, Sweet Chick and Left and Right, pretty good. I don't really listen to Left and Right that much, but Sweet Chick is a great-ass track. It's like Corday's song Location Chips if it was R&B. I give this one an 8. And then Silk Sonic, usually whatever score I give an album whenever I first listen to it, will not stick. Usually a score will go down as I usually have high hopes for something and I'm either impressed on first listen and then disappointed upon a second, or I just get bored of something over time. This album I gave a 10 when I first listened to it. It is still a 10 now. Every track on here is either gorgeous, fun, or extremely emotional, like Put on a Smile, which is still my favorite track after hundreds of listens. This album was only 9 tracks, but every time I listen, it just keeps making me want more, and while to some people that may be a bit of a downside, that this thing is only 9 tracks when it could have been fleshed out a bit more, I believe the 9 tracks that we do get here are flawless, even with the intro being just a skit. Silk Sonic, An Evening with Silk Sonic, is a 10. And then after those 2 records, we have a couple Lucy's. Firstly, Kanye West's Donda. Well, the deluxe version, because that's what's on CD. The Donda Deluxe album. Before I even talk about the album, I just want to complain about the packaging. And it's going to switch to camera audio, so sorry if it's shit for a minute. As you can see, it's all black, just like the actual album art, because it's black. And no, I didn't just turn the TV off. I actually have it on a YouTube video for it because I'm dedicated to my craft. So usually when you open an album, it has a booklet on the inside that you can take out and see credits and like album art maybe. This one has lyrics in it. Nope, credits. I'm fucking stupid. So with buying an album, there's usually more to look at and an actual purpose in buying a physical copy of the record. With Donda Deluxe, however, It's just a fucking black piece of paper. I mean, sure, as the copyright shit on it, like 2021, Getting Out Our Dreams, distributed by Def Jam Recordings, the division of UMG Recordings Incorporated, distributed by UMG Commercial Services. But like, who gives a shit? Like, let me see the album credits. Let me see the feature list. Let me see something other than just a fucking black floppy piece of paper. I'd actually rather just have a blank CD cover. The black cover on the inside is no different either. It's just blank as shit. The CDs are blank. There's, you know, the usual FBI anti-piracy warnings and copyright shit on the CD that they have to have on every single physical copy of an album ever sold. But other than that, it's just a blank fucking album, and really, I could be lying about having it. It's like no different. You have the barcode here. Is that what design you want? And since I've been using the back cover of the albums to talk about specific tracks, to remember what track listing there is, I have to pull it up on Spotify. And not to mention, there are 32 tracks on this fucking album. So there's a lot to talk about. I love the original version of Donda. It was one of my top albums of last year, and if Donda 2 was of quality, and if I even listened to that, then it'd probably be my top album of this year, or one of my top albums. But the deluxe version of Donda is the definition of bloated. Some people were arguing that Donda was bloated at 27 tracks, but I believe every track, except Television, served a purpose. Every track was placed where it needed to be, every track had the amount of features that it needed to have, every track was concise, to the point, and was simply gorgeous. But on the deluxe version, every track is moved around and the plot just does not make sense anymore. Why are two of the part 2s up in the actual track listing? Why is Hurricane the first track after Donda Chant? And with moving shit around, why is Keep My Spirit Alive Part 2 the outro? And why is Keep My Spirit Alive Part 2 a Part 2? Keep My Spirit Alive is gorgeous. The original version of it. Not the version where Kanye is singing the chorus and shit, the one where the girl is. I think it's Casey. I don't fucking know who it is. What I do know is that I love that original version so much that I actually have it downloaded on my phone so that I don't have to go on Spotify and listen to that version of the song, because I do not like Kanye singing when he replaces her. Why was that a necessary change that Kanye had to make? I don't understand, and I will never understand it, and I will never like that change. Ever. Of course, even with bullshit changes like that, they still cut Television on there, which pisses me off every time I hear it, because it's just a blatant exploitation of Pop Smoke after his passing, and I will not ever sympathize with anyone who tries to defend it. You already have a finished version of Television on Pop Smoke's posthumous album. That is such a fucking tongue twister. So this track is just completely redundant, and honestly, I've never seen anyone try and defend this track, ever. I've never heard anyone say that it is good, or that it is a nice tribute. I've never heard anything positive about it, so it's okay for me to be pissed. Yeah, this album is just bloated. I will say that Never Abandon Your Family, one of the new tracks on this deluxe version, is fantastic. It's like Drake's Keep the Family Close, but with even higher emotional stakes. As Drake is talking about the people that he loves around him that are not his family, and while Kanye is talking about his actual children. Just personally, I have not gotten through this Donda deluxe version, and I don't think I will. I listen to a disc to fall asleep to, or just a vibe in the background. I've never actually sat down and listened to the full record, just because it is bloated as shit, and honestly, I don't really feel like listening to 2 hours and 11 minutes of Kanye West. That is not my vibe, especially when Television is a part of that runtime. I'm good. I give this one like a 4, I guess. I don't fucking know. And then Vince Staples' 2022 record, Ramona Park Broke My Heart, the Target exclusive cover art. Ramona Park Broke My Heart by Vince Staples is a continuation of his 2021 record, Vince Staples, in the way that it is more low-key and more introspective. While I love Big Fish Theory and FM for its eccentricities, I do think that Vince Staples stripping it back and going with a more laid-back and vintage sound is more impactful. Because some of his lyrics in the past can come off as quite braggadocious, even when he's trying to have a more deeper, heartfelt message about the negative sides of gang life. Which is why Vince Staples' 2021 self-titled record was such a hard-hitting release. Every track on there had a purpose, every track on there was soulful, every track on there was quite impactful, and with the more melodic and laid-back sound of that record, his lyrics on gang life and everything else impacted much more. And it's all delivered in the smooth melodic tone that really helps all the lyrics impact how they should. Whereas if you put those same lyrics on Big Fish Theory, it would have some really big distorted electronic beat behind it, so that you're more focused on how impactful the beat is than how impactful the lyrics are. Ramona Park Broke My Heart is a pretty good continuation to that, but falls short by being a little too long. The album starts strong with an intro, the beach, and then Free the Homies. Where on the chorus he announces, if I had one wish, I'd free the homies. Talking about how even though he's made something for himself and he's out of that sort of lifestyle, he still has not lost the love that he's felt for the people that he came up with. That same energy is kept up through the rest of the record, but I feel like it gets a little weak at Slide, with its hook being just slide a few times. Now, while I don't have a problem with repetition, as Playboi Carti is one of my favorite artists, I do feel like it's just a little redundant. And while at first the chorus Eliminate didn't really bother me that much, it's a bit grating. Vince's singing is not that good on here. His voice is a little too squeaky for me. The album does end strong though with Rose Street and The Blues, with both of them being emotional high points on the record. I do replay this album a lot, but I do feel like it could benefit from a little bit of trimming. I give this one a 7. And then after all of this unlistenable mid, we have the god of music himself, Kendrick Lamar. As you can see, I have every physical Kendrick album I can get my hands on, except for Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, which will be coming in the mail on Friday. Now, I'm not even going to review each of these albums right here because I feel like I could do a video doing that itself and ranking them, which I feel like I'm going to do anyway. Also, I don't have a physical copy of Section 80 just because I could not find one on Amazon at all. So after I get my physical copy of Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, I'll probably do a review ranking every Kendrick album just because Kendrick is my favorite artist. I listen to his music 24/7. His music has saved me, but that's something I'll touch on more whenever I do that video if I ever get around to it. But yeah, we have one more album to talk about. An album that I've actually reviewed on this channel before, and I saved it for last because I got the first ever copy of it. And that album is this, Vince's Vans by Dead Batteries. And here's my proof that I got the first ever copy. It has a 001 on it. If you go on Dead Batteries Instagram or anything, you can see when they're sending out copies of the album, they have them numbered. I got the very first copy. I bought the album the second it dropped. Why, you ask? Even though I do not like this album very much, and they also took off the best track? Well, that is because there's an exclusive track on the CD that you can only get when you buy the physical copy, and that is Buy Our CD bonus track. So you're probably wondering, Drake, if they made a song that you can only listen to if you pay $7 for the physical copy of the album, what does it sound like? Well, don't get ahead of yourselves. We're going to have to open this package first and review the packaging. I apologize 1,000,000% if the audio is not very good in this segment. This actually is packaged quite nicely, and the paper sack thing or package envelope thing that they sent it in was pretty good quality. I threw it away because I opened the package, but yeah. I actually really like the vinyl texturing on this cover. Like, I'm pretty sure this is just a standard CD cover, but listen. Why was I going to tell you to feel it? Pretty soothing feeling. I will say it is slightly sticky at their feet, but I think it's because of the saran wrap. And the CD, it's not a blank CD. It actually has something on it. Dead Batteries, Vince's Vans. I do think that the color scheme is off. They should have stuck to the aesthetic of this, but they kept the same font, I guess, so it's better than nothing. And the CD came with a smudge right there. So not fantastic. So, why don't we see what the track sounds like? I just put the disc in there. Red is no disc, so let's try it again. I think they sent me a faulty product. Maybe I have to do the good old blow thing, but I shouldn't have to do that for a brand new CD. The CD should not be this dirty when I first take it out of the packaging. Okay, now it's working. So, let's go to track 9, Buy Our CD.
Has this ever happened to you?
I just don't have enough CDs.
If you answered yes to any of these questions, do I have the product for you?
So instantly there, you probably realized this track is an advertisement for the CD that you have already bought. What kind of sense does that even make? Like, you're already making people pay $7 to listen to your album, and then the bonus track that they have not heard, that they can only hear by purchasing the album, is telling them to purchase the album that they already purchased. What the fuck? You also took the best song of the album, so there's really no reason in me having this goddamn fucking thing. So not only did they distribute a filthy CD, the song that you can only hear by purchasing the CD is telling you to purchase the CD. Safe to say, I don't like this. I think I'm feeling a genuine... This is the worst album I've ever heard. This thing doesn't deserve to be heard by another human being. So I'm gonna throw it into that fucking pond. You know what I just realized? That was the wrong album.